Welcome to episode 180 of EDH Commander Challenge. I'm your host, BT. Before we start today's matchup, just a few reminders. First, I want to say thank you for helping my friend Create Commander reach 200 subscribers on YouTube. I can't thank you enough. Please stay tuned to the end of the episode, as today we'll announce the winner of the Nyx Lotus giveaway. Secondly, don't forget that the first episode of Vintage Vigilance will be coming in just under 2 weeks' time on Sunday, August 15th at 11 a.m. But for the first time ever on this channel, the elusive, most valuable card in the game, Black Lotus, will make its very first appearance. We also want to say thank you to our biggest supporters, the EDHCC Club, aka our patron pledge hammers. We can't thank you enough for making our weekly content possible. And lastly, if anyone out there is looking for new sleeves or playmats for their future decks, please check out yourplaymat.com and feel free to use our affiliate link in the description below to receive 10% off your order, which not only gets you cool swag, but also helps out the channel. Now then, let's jump in and go check out those opening hands. First, in this corner, with an opening hand of 2 forests, Mountain, Sword of Hours, Maddening Hex, Ryle, Spitflame, and his Gruul-style general Vrondiss, Rage of Ancients. He is the mad scientist. This is Francis. Next, in this corner, with an opening hand of 3 islands, Crystal Shard, Resculpt, Pongify, Cyclonic Rift, and his mono-blue general, Octavia, Living Thesis. He is the unpredictable Jimmy. Jimmy won the dice roll to start us off, so let's begin this awesome card fight. For their first turns, Jimmy plays an island, while Francis plays a forest. Jimmy plays an island, while Francis plays a mountain and casts Arcane Signet. Jimmy plays a basic and casts Advice from the Fae. This lets him check his top 5 cards. He adds one of them to his hand and bottoms the rest. While Francis plays a forest and casts Maddening Hex, which he enchants Jimmy with. That card can be quite OP in 1v1, by the way, as the card basically remains on Jimmy as the only opponent. #ouch. For Jimmy's turn, he casts Surikar Spellblade, while Francis plays Underdark Rift and casts his general, Vrondiss, and passes. Jimmy plays Inventor's Fair and casts Pongify to destroy Vrondiss. This places a charge counter on the Spellblade and it triggers the Hex. Jimmy rolls a 1 with the D6 and takes 1 damage before Vrondiss is replaced with a 3/3 green ape token. But the ape doesn't stay long, as Jimmy casts Cyclonic Rift to bounce the token off the field. This also places another counter on the Spellblade and triggers the Hex again. This time Jimmy rolls a 3 and takes 3 damage. Then Jimmy moves into combat and attacks with a Spellblade. This deals Francis 2 damage. Then, with its combat trigger, the Spellblade lets Jimmy draw 2 cards as he has 2 counters on it, and then Jimmy passes. Francis starts his turn by casting Spitflame, dealing 4 damage to the Spellblade, killing it. Then he casts Sword of Hours and passes. Jimmy plays a basic and casts both Soul Ring and Talran Sky Summoner before passing. During Francis's turn, we both remember Jimmy forgot to roll for the Hex trigger for playing Soul Ring. Jimmy rolls a 1 and takes a damage. Sadly, Francis has no moves and passes. Before the end step, Jimmy casts Resculpt to exile the Sword of Hours. This gives Francis a 4/4 blue and red elemental token, and thanks to Talran, grants Jimmy a 2/2 flying blue Drake token. This also triggers the Hex, and Jimmy rolls a 4 and thus takes 4 damage. Jimmy plays a basic and casts Archaeomancer. With its ETB, he returns Pongify from the graveyard back to his hand. Then he casts Crystal Shard, which makes Francis groan for obvious reasons. This also triggers the Hex. Jimmy rolls a 6 and takes the maximum 6 damage. Then he moves into combat and attacks Francis with his Drake token for 2 damage and passes. Francis plays Haven of the Spirit Dragon and casts Horde Smelter Dragon. Jimmy immediately casts the Pongify he got back to replace that dragon with yet another 3/3/8 token. Jimmy rolls again off the Hex trigger, this time rolling a 1 and taking a damage. This also grants Jimmy his second Drake token before Francis passes. Jimmy starts his turn off by casting Baral, Chief of Compliance, followed by Concentrate to draw 3 cards. This gains him his 3rd Drake token and triggers the Maddening Hex. This time, Jimmy rolls a 5 and thus takes 5 damage. Jimmy then moves into combat and attacks Francis with 2 Drake tokens for 4 damage and passes. For Francis' turn, he casts Baruch's Uprising, followed by Ryle, dealing a damage to his elemental token, allowing him to also draw a card, before passing. Before the end step, however, Jimmy uses his Crystal Shard to bounce his Archaeomancer back to his hand. Jimmy plays a basic and recasts the Archaeomancer he bounced to his hand, and used its ETB to return Cyclonic Rift from the graveyard back to his hand, which he recasts right away to bounce the Maddening Hex back to Francis' hand. The Hex, however, still triggers on cast, forcing Jimmy to roll again. This time he rolls a 5, taking 5 damage before the card gets bounced. This also grants Jimmy his 4th Drake token. Next he casts Sapphire Medallion. Then he moves into combat and attacks Francis with 3 Drake tokens, dealing him 6 damage before Jimmy passes. Francis plays a forest and casts Terror of Mount Velis. This lets him draw a card via his Uprising trigger, and the Terror's ETB grants Francis' creatures double strike until end of turn. So Francis moves into combat and at last attacks with his token creatures. Jimmy blocks the Elemental with his Archaeomancer, and before damage, bounces the creature to his hand thanks to his Crystal Shard. Then he takes 6 damage from the 8 token, and Francis passes. During his upkeep, as he has Metalcraft at last, Jimmy gains 1 life from his Inventor's Fair land. Then he casts Aether Gale and bounces 6 non-land permanents, which in this case are basically all 4 of Francis' non-land permanents, and Jimmy's own Medallion and Baral. This grants Jimmy another Drake token. Then he recasts his Medallion and Baral. Then he moves into combat and attacks Francis with 4 Drake tokens for 8 total damage, and passes. For Francis' turn, he casts Clot's Will, where X is 3, and chooses to deal 3 damage to each creature without flying. This takes out everything except for the flying Drake tokens before he passes. During his upkeep, Jimmy gains 1 life via his Inventor's Fair, as again he has Metalcraft. He then plays a basic and recasts Archaeomancer. With his ETB, he adds Concentrate back to his hand, which he then recasts right away to draw 3 more cards. Then he moves into combat and attacks Francis with his Drake tokens for 10 damage before passing. Francis plays Crucible of the Spirit Dragon and has a plan to beat Jimmy right now. It starts with him casting Cloth Unrivaled Ancient. He also pays a mana to return Spitflame from the graveyard to his hand. However, as he moves into combat, Jimmy cycles Choking Tethers to tap Cloth. This snuffs out Francis' last hope, as he then decides to scoop as he can't survive Jimmy's next combat phase, giving the unpredictable Jimmy the win. Francis was only playing the Precon deck here. I did suggest him to do like Jimmy and supplement the deck with other cards in his collection, but he refused and decided to play the deck verbatim. To his credit, he came very close to beating Jimmy with a single card, Maddening Hex. It's a card clearly designed for 4-player games. In 1v1, it's just not fair. Which, by the way, quick question, would this card work in tandem with Fiery Emancipation? Let me know in the comments. For Jimmy, he has Crystal Shard to thank for his win. In combination with Archaeomancer, he was able to reuse and recycle his instants and sorceries to slow down Francis while increasing his own resources just enough to stay ahead all the way to the finish line. He didn't even have to cast his General. With our picks, let us know in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy our content, consider becoming a patron. Give you access to such things as entries into our majestic prize tournaments, bonus entries into giveaways, your nickname as part of our EDHCC club, and so much more. Speaking of giveaways, we're about to announce the winner of the Nyx Lotus giveaway, and once again, thank you so much for helping Create Commander reach 200 subscribers. Now then, it's time to head to the roulette wheel and announce the winner. By the way, the winner will have 2 weeks to message me, either in the comments below or via Twitter, to send me their address to mail out their prize. Now then, let's go! And the winner of the Nyx Lotus giveaway is Wesley Wren. Congratulations, and thank you everyone for helping my friend reach 200 subscribers. Both myself and Create Commander, we thank you very, very much. Wesley, you have 2 weeks to send me your information so I can send you your awesome prize. Thank you all, everybody. Stay warm, stay safe, and keep on card gaming. Cheers!